everybody's listening to you. Let me jump back to the other one while they're carrying on. Jesus, that's embarrassing as hell.
Earth is flat.
All right, let's try this.
Fuck you, Mark Taylor.
No swearing. It may still be on the air.
Not working now. Resume call. Not working.
I think he's all right with this.
No, we may be on the air.
I think we are on the air.
Quite possibly on the air if there's been a Skype mix-up. That's all good. If we are, know and understand, audience, the Earth is indeed flat. It has been proven. On the other hand, if I'm just talking to myself, that's cool too. You know, everyone's a winner.
He does it all the time.
Yeah. Often people will say that. I don't know. I don't think we are going out. I think he'd have said.
No. It would have been funny if we were.
But maintain vigilance just in case. He will be rejoining us, I would suspect. That could have been better handled.
We can get back to the porn now.
I'm going to start recording anyway, so just be aware.
Okay. What you are? What
Well,
are you going live
I've been
as well?
recording for about the last 60 seconds, just so you're aware.
Okay. Right, that's fine.
Because as soon as you joined, I was like, oh, we might be immediately going on air. So, you know, start recording. But yeah, this will be in the edit. In other words, I'm not going to edit it.
I guess Joan's due for finishing.
Should really say something like that, shouldn't I? Because this will be on the recording. So we're currently waiting for TFR to pick us up. We're in the green room. We're going to be talking about the Isle of Man. An island in the background. What did you think to that testimony? What did you think to the witness testimony?
Great.
Yeah.
I think it was. I mean, it's common knowledge in the area. I was saying to Bob from Globebusters before that, although it's common knowledge on the coastal towns, nobody in the coastal towns are on the circuit that we're on. So they all look at me as though it's like, what? Of course we can see Ireland. And I'm like, do you realise how important that is? What do you mean? The Earth's flat. Shut up.
Yeah, and they're just like, nah. Some days it's cloudy and some days it's fine. When it's fine, you can see forever. You know, you can see Ireland. That's it.
The only problem with being in this green room with Ranty and Nathan and Chris is that Ranty keeps trumping. It stinks.
Yeah, it smells from it.
All right, don't say that. We are recording this. Just tell me if you can hear this.
I was asking this gentleman here whether he had ever heard tell by anyone he knew whether you could see the coast of England from Ireland, and this is what he says.
Absolutely correct, what Nora has told me. 100% correct. My family go back 4 generations as far as Bray, and I myself travelled the hill there because I have so many aunts, uncles, great uncles. We're steeped in history. Well, my granddaunts and all my parents told me on a summer's day you could go to Bray Head, and I myself witnessed it as a young man when I used to go to my grandaunt's house on a lovely summer's day. You could see the coast of England quite clearly.
From Ireland?
From Ireland,
And
yes.
would you be up very high, or obviously
I
be on
don't
a
know.
hill?
No, it's not that high. It's only about, I don't know the...
Was it in your house, you mean? Or
No,
outside?
you climbed the hill. You went
Oh
up.
yeah, that hill behind the houses?
No, you climbed, like, there was a promenade in Bray, which is on the coast, obviously.
Yeah,
and
called
then
railings.
at the bottom of the promenade, there's a rocky hill which runs all the way around to grey stones.
Right,
And if
that
you
hill.
climbed to the top of that, or walked along that coastal walk, you could see it quite clearly.
Even from that path, the
Yes,
coastal walk,
absolutely.
where all those
no
flint,
doubt,
the
no doubt.
pieces of flint
so,
are.
So these people are telling Nora that she's lying. No, that's 100% correct, okay?
Well, thank you.
So I'm going to suggest to Nora that, well, this is not good weather to travel out there, but maybe on a nice summer's day, she could focus in on that.
Yeah, I will. I'll take a camera out there and try it. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Bye.
Nora, no one's flower.
The simple reality is it's common knowledge, yet none of them are in the FE circuit. So if we can infiltrate that common knowledge, I mean, that in itself, you don't really need much more proof than that. I mean, it's subjective and it's not conjecture, but it's eyewitness testimony. But nonetheless, it tells you that it's likely to be true. So
well, you do need more proof than that, because that's just one person's opinion. We're, referencing people that have long since died. But if you had a consensus of people that lived in the area, not just the one, then yeah, of course, then that testimony is far stronger than just one person. But still,
yeah, how many would you need?
Stands by itself. To be fair.
How many evidences would you need from witnesses that live in the area before you would consider it to be credible? Would you need 5, 20?
If you asked, let's just play semantics here. If we said you asked 30 people, and 3 or 4 of them said, yeah, I've seen the coast from here, right? That would be good enough for me, because nobody really goes to look for the coasts. They don't even go to see how far they can look. They go down to the beach, if they ever do go to the beach, just to hang about. So if you had 1 in 10 people that said, yeah, for sure, I've seen England, that would be good enough for me. But we don't know how many people were asked to get that response.
Well, you only need 5, in my opinion, and that would be more than enough to persuade me that
I would love to go and do an interview there in the town centre, perhaps, and literally record for perhaps 2 or 3 hours, just asking random people, just to ask them, and we could add it up, tally it up. We've spoken to 150 people, and 10 of them have said we can see the coast, or 20 have said we can see the coast. That'd be good enough for me.
Yeah, but
don't tell them that you're actually researching, whatever you're just looking for a yes or no answer. Can you see England from here?
Yeah. And the funny thing is, somebody asked me, have I ever seen the Isle of Man from Blackpool, right? And my response immediately was, nah, and I hadn't, right? And the next time I went to the coast, right, we went to go and get an ice cream, me and the missus, and we went to...
So how many ice creams did you have then?
There was 2. They were real as well. You didn't eat them all.
These were real ice creams. They are part of the narrative. They're part of the story. We'll assume they're real.
And this is no word of a lie. And we went to the promenade. It was literally, the ice cream place was on the promenade virtually, and it was like 20 seconds walk, and we were on the promenade. So we crossed over, and I had my P900 with me, camera, tripod, set it up, and I said, that's where the Isle of Man is. And I said, actually, I can bloody see the Isle of Man here. I can make the outline of it. It's there. And she goes, you sure? I says, yeah, look, there it is. Got the P900 out. Boom, there it was. And yet somebody had asked me not a week before, had I been able to, I think it might have been you, Anthony. Have you seen the Isle of Man from Blackpool? And I went, no. And I hadn't. Even though I've spent, my entire life in Blackpool, I've never physically looked across to see if I can see the Isle of Man.
But it's the same if you ask people in Hoylake if they've seen Blackpool Tower. No. I asked 4, 5, 6 people, had they seen it? And every one of them said no. Yeah, we can see it with the naked eye if you know where to look.
Yeah, that was it. When I knew where I was looking and what I was looking for, I saw it. But until then, I could have just dismissed it as clouds in the background, or, just something that it wasn't important. It wasn't important to know that there was something there. Even though I could see it, I didn't think anything of it.
Sometimes you're blind to it, even if you do know. So this is true with the diamond. So even though we had literally put our mouse pointers probably on that lighthouse dozens of times, we'd already kissed it goodbye to refraction. So, it's only when you were literally going, well, let's see what's really there. Let's actually look what's really there and start studying it. And it's the same with what's in front of your eyes in reality. Most people don't see the wood for the trees because they're not looking. And, earlier we were talking about mobile phones and people being stuffed their faces into their mobile phones. But that's, they're never a true word spoken. People don't actually look at stuff. I still get comments on my videos like, well, how does the sun work? Just literally as simplistic as that. And the answer is go out and have a look. Go and watch what it does. Most people don't. Most people haven't got a clue. We had one guy, I'm sure you were there, Anthony, when one guy joined the debate and it was like, well, it rises... Oh, what's going on with my Internet Explorer? It's crashed. Interesting. Never done that before.
So I had Google Earth Pro shut down on me 3 times today.
Skype keeps dropping for me.
Weird.
Yeah, Google's been crashing on me too, unexpectedly.
In fact, I had a complete PC crash last night.
And you know, it's funny. I had a whole system update this morning, and when it reloaded after a system update, I'm assuming it were a big one. It fucking failed, and I had to restore to a previous working edition. Just as I was due to go live in the next 5 minutes, and I thought, you better fucking work.
Was conspiratards.
Yep.
So it's all. You can imagine that's what they're actually saying now. Conspiratards.
I've got I don't know. I've got VPN and I've got up-to-date internet security and shit, and I tend to find that when you do have those things, it tends to be okay, unless somebody is physically going out of their way to attack your computer. But I don't think that's happening. I just think it was coincidence. I just had something crash occasionally. These things happen. You know what I mean? But I don't think I'm being hacked because we're in the green room for TFR.
But yeah, it's amazing how many times you can walk past something and not see it, or you know, some people have said to me before, you know, oh, do you know where such a place is? And I'm like, no, but we drive by it every day, but you just don't see it because you're focusing on the road. You know, your mind's thinking of something different, and I guess that's the same with people on the coasts. You know, they just don't know what they're actually looking at, and even if they did, like you said, Nathan, they might just say, yeah, there's the Isle of Man there, without actually putting two and two together and thinking, should I be able to see this on a ball? Because it doesn't process in their brains because they've been conditioned to believe that we live on a ball.
Yeah, doesn't matter what I see, it all conforms to a ball, doesn't it? Well,
yeah,
you know, I've got a picture of a sunrise up now, like Chris had said. I like that too as a flat Earth proof. It's like you wouldn't get that coming to your feet. And in my particular image now, it comes on the reflection in the sand, the tiny bits of water that are left as it seeps into the sand. You can still see the sun in it. You're like, that only works if we live on a flat Earth. There's no other explanation for it. And I always knew that instinctively, and it was only literally days ago that Chris modelled it for me. And it's so nice. You know, you can apply this to most of your reality. And I've said this before in terms of the debates. You know, I'm sure I'm not giving away my hand when I just think, well, I just apply the idea that we're on a flat plane to that. So in other words, when you hear locals saying, yeah, of course we can see England, you think, yeah, well, that makes sense because we live on a flat plane. So it's not a shock. But, you know, to the people who do live on a globe, the Gem Pandas and the Mark Taylors and those people, every time something contradicts that, it's a real shock to the system. You know, have you ever, since finding out the Earth is flat, had any globe shocks? Anything that suddenly made you think, oh, it might be a globe? I mean, you have. You showed me it. It was quite delightful, actually. I shouldn't answer for you, Anthony, but it was delightful because you got in touch when you were doing this observation because you were trying to find Blackpool Tower, but you were doing other stuff because you were like, oh, I can't see it. And, you know, but what I have done is I've walked up and down this slope and I think I've found some curvature. And I was like, and I contentedly sat there with a smile going, oh, yeah, tell me all about it. Because I knew instinctively, immediately, that what you would have found would have been what's been co-opted for curvature in terms of what you can like Soundly's doing. You know, that's what you found. You found an effect that looks like the curve. Great. You know, document it is what I said to you.
You found several wind farms, wind turbines, that were equally spaced, distances apart, away from his observer point. And he got into a position like Soundly does, and he lines them up where they're almost, you know, viewable one next to the other. And then he zooms in and he recreated the effect that Soundly had. It was quite amusing, actually. And then he's like, okay, right, I think I found curve. But what he didn't realise was that if you looked at the bottom of the wind turbines, he was actually losing the yellow. The yellow portion was getting equally reduced as much as the top part was getting reduced. And that was just down to angular size.
Yeah, but that's honest observations. So, you know, I can have a bit of empathy and go, if I was looking for curvature, you literally go out and look for curvature if you're on the fence. Yeah. And at the time you were, I remember it very, very, very well. You know, Anthony's on the fence and he's going out, right, I'm going to find the curvature then. So you go out objectively and present both sides of what you find. You know, and me, you know, I'm quite happy in my assertions. You know, I know the Earth's flat. So it doesn't matter if someone comes to me and says, I found curvature. You go, great, let's have a look. You know, and you have a little look and you go, oh, yeah. And that was the situation with you. So I was more than happy. I think I titled that hangout, Curvature found by Anthony Riley.
It's not curving. It just looks curving. Yeah, but are you sure? Yeah, it's refraction. Oh, yeah, it is actually. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you were right. I was a bit stupid for thinking.
No, don't be like that. That's just come on.
But the thing was, though, it was only when I went and got my high-powered zoom lens that I realised that, oh shit, it's that band of refraction. But if I just had a normal camera or not a P900 on that day, I'd have gone home thinking it were curved.
Well, that's the illusion, isn't it? We are living in an illusion, and they do very well. They actually make our senses and our opticals, everything that we perceive as the world, it does look. It can look curved. It was like we was talking to Bob today. And he says the 7/6, and all that kind of the radius and stuff, it all conforms to the eyes and how the lenses work and stuff like this. And it was fascinating listening to what he was saying. I'm sure you registered with what he was saying, Anthony. I listened intently, but I didn't recall it like you probably have done. But I'm sure, yeah, go ahead, explain.
Well, the conversation with Bob today was just like an episode of Globebusters. It was as deep and as meaningful as all of his Globebuster shows. So I've heard what he said today 1,000 times, but the reality is, I've lost my. What was the question? I'm sorry.
About the 7/6R.
It was basically saying that the measurements all appear to be the same ratio as the eye. So, like, if you were to expand up and gross up the measurements inside the eye for all the components of the eye, seems to match the Earth that we live on in terms of, like, I don't know. He did go
look into the horizon. This is where your opticals will perceive a curve as well as, and the higher up you go, it's still that same ratio as if you look to the horizon because of the design of the eye. It makes you believe this 7/6 radius, so it's like a curve.
So was it this is going to be the first time this gets said, the oculists who occulted this? Did you hear that?
Hey, sorry, guy.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, that's me. Sorry. Jesus, sorry that took so long. I did not think they would go on that long.
Is it going well?
I think so. Jesus,
excellent.
Let me kill this.
Has he finished?
Yeah, I think we're ready. Let me just go ahead and add over here. That way I don't end up doing all the silly shit I was doing before.
I get some noise in the background here too, so I'll stay on mute and just I'll let you know when I'm available to. But if you want me to share screen, just type it in the sidebar chat, and if you want to talk about the model, I can probably manipulate it while you talk in reference to it.
Just take a knife to your mum, that'll shut her up.
Yeah, I can't tell her to get off the phone because I'm on a radio show. She'd be.
Yeah, it should be off the phone by the time you come on, man. It'll be a while yet because I think not sure when we're going on, but.
You cool with sharing screens too, Ranty? You good with that?
Sorry, say again.
You good with doing some, you know your presentation that you do?
Oh yeah. I
mean, there's going to be an opportunity.
I can share screens on Skype. Yeah, that's not an issue.
There's all sorts of stuff going on with Skype at the minute by the looks. It's a
Good evening, gents.
Hello there,
Greetings.
Adam. How you doing?
Good evening.
Was that Josh that was on a second ago?
Gentlemen.
Hello?
Josh is here. Adam is here. Everybody else should be on their way. I think I should have added everyone, including Jaren. I'm just not sure if they knew to get over here.
Are you in an ad break now? Are we live now? What's going on?
No, we are not live now. We've still got a little bit more. It's over, or at least maybe a few more.
How long before the ad ends? Did you say?
Let's go like 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Oh, that's good.
Put down your microphone.
Yes.
Yep. Hello, Adam. Hello, Jaren. Hello. Who else?
Can everyone hear me?
Evening, guys. Can hear you, Rob. Sadly.
Yeah, you can hear me. I don't know. I didn't know we were moving rooms.
Tony, just a quickie before we go on air. What footy team are you, fella?
Me, Liverpool.
Yeah, the Rob's a big scouse. So there you
good.
go.
Oh, good. We'll get
Do you
on
reckon
fast.
he looks like Jurgen Klopp?
Yeah, what do you reckon, dude?
Do I reckon who looks like Jurgen Klopp?
Adam.
Rob keeps making it look like Jurgen Klopp. I'm not having it.
I only see a screen share, so I can't see any image.
Yeah, it keeps popping in. Oh, it's because you've got Chris's screen share up. If you have the secondary screen open, so minimise something or bring another window over and it'll open the secondary Skype window, and that always shows you whatever cameras or screen shares are being talked on. So just minimise them, you can bring, and you'll see that second window appear in one of your screens. You know, like a little tab. It's really handy.
Oh yeah, I see.
Just drag that into somewhere that you know where it is, and then then you can minimise Skype and do all sorts of other stuff around it without losing who you're talking to or the call you're on.
I still have Chris's screen share page on though.
You just minimise it.
Click in the bottom right corner. There's a little like icons down in the bottom. If you click on them in the bottom right corner, it pulls everybody back up.
Yeah, if you keep pressing them, it toggles through the person you're pressing on being on full screen, or all four being on screen, or them evenly spaced. It just toggles your way through them.
Which button is that?
Just anybody's face. So just click on somebody's face that you want, and it'll put them as big screen. If you click it again, it'll make all four people, or five, or however many is on the call, be on all the screen equally, and so on.
Hey Josh, where's Jaron? Is he still in that other call?
I don't know.
If you just click on Nathan's image, basically.
I think what's happened is Jaren's been added to the call, so you've had to so that you've only got one call running, which you can have to broadcast. You've in the break you've dropped that call, picked this call up, and have added Jaren to it. I think that's what's happened.
Correct. He should know to come over. I made the announcement before we went to break, or before I came over here. I don't know who heard though. I guess jump over there, see if he's still in there. Somebody else, not me. And if he is, just tell him to go to the room that we added him to. You should be able to see
it's
it.
called Isle of Man.
Hello, guys.
Hey, Adam.
Just say hello.
Hello.
30 seconds.
Cool.
Hello.
Is somebody going to go over there and see if Jaren's there?
I think Adam's
I'm here. Sorry, I was at the restroom.
Oh, phew. Okay, good deal. Then I'll assume everybody else knows where to go.
Yeah, I just heard the other call, so I hung up on that one.
We got him.
Perfect. Sorry, that was such a clusterfuck.
Oh, that's a word that Red's Rhetoric and all them use.
Yeah, well, I'll avoid that shit.